mentioned, then we'd do that, we'd tackle them. There is no silver bullet to this problem. Advertising certainly isn't a silver bullet. The evidence indicates it only has a modest direct influence on children's immediate food preferences. I do want to say one thing, however. Whilst we have seen a reduction in children's exposure to TV ads for HFSS advertising, we recognise that the regulatory settlement in relation to TV, including in relation to some of the programmes that you mentioned, was agreed over 10 years ago, and that's why we think it's important to do a call for evidence. We've launched a call for evidence. We want to see the academic evidence together with any assessment of any cost or benefit of further restrictions.
Academic evidence in a minute, but I'm keen to bring our last two panellists in before we pick up some points that others would like to pick up on.
Yeah, go on.
So the line that it has a modest direct effect on food preferences is from at least 15 years ago, and actually the academic evidence has been greatly strengthened since then. So what we can see is that, first of all, even a single acute experimental exposure to advertising, so just a one-off exposure to food advertising, will increase children's food intake by around 30 to 50 calories. We know that something in the region of 48 to 71 calories extra per day is all that's required over time to generate weight gain in children. We've also shown recently that that increase in intake is not compensated for a later eating occasion, so kids will not adjust their later intake at, for example, a subsequent meal in order to account for the snacking that they did in response to food advertising. So that food advertising there will impact upon an energy imbalance and drive weight gain. So we know that it's not compensated for, it contributes to weight gain. We also know that it operates on a number of different levels, for example, affecting purchase intention, pest to power, preference, and food intake. But it's very difficult to isolate the effect of food marketing on diet or obesity. We can't lock children in a prison to make a control group who will not be exposed to marketing and then see what happens to their weight over time relative to children in the free world where they're exposed to advertising. So while we can get as far as we can get with what I've just said about direct effects on weight, what we need to consider is that we don't need direct evidence to show obesity. We know eating unhealthy foods leads to an unhealthy diet, leads to weight gain, which leads to obesity. So let's focus on the fact that food marketing contributes to unhealthy eating behaviours, and that in itself should be enough to make us think this is something we need to act upon.